All right, so we're in the Plaza Theater in Atlanta, Georgia. Kenny Braswell from Fathers Incorporated, and I'm with Mr. Anthony Hamilton.
How are you?
This brother is just on a whole nother level on the music tip, but tonight we're here for a whole nother reason. We're here to support and celebrate Brother Ron Fest and his film In My Father's House. You've seen the film a couple of times. Tell me your first impression about it.
I thought it was necessary. My first, viewing of it, I thought it was so parallel to my life that it was so necessary for me to see it. And I thank God that I had the opportunity to be a part of it and to witness almost like my life unfolded in front of me. And I learned so much from it.
What stood out the most in the film about that resonated with you?
The fact that the father was such a good person and a good-spirited person that, we put these blames and this weight on and these burdens on people who make a mistake and don't really have a chance to come up out of that mistake. And you put so much on them and you don't really have a chance to get to know the person. So getting to know his father just gave me a whole new outlook on that whole experience. And it gave me more compassion for his life. Okay. I forgot all about mine.
What kind of impact did your dad have on you?
My dad was, now he's in my life. He's back in my life. But in the beginning, it was a struggle to make him come around. But then he just, after a while, he just told me he didn't have time to play daddy. I was about 15 years old. And even prior to that, he was never really, I never saw a ball thrown at me or anything. But he told me he didn't have time to play daddy. So for about 17 years, I never called him again.
We all kind of have those narratives, and in my life, I didn't meet my dad until I was 23 years old, and then shortly after I met him, he passed away. And so all the answers to the questions I had for him were buried when he was buried that day. They're questions that I'll never get answered in my entire life. And so, part of what we're dealing with in our community, I know here in Atlanta and the work that we do across the country, particularly working with young boys, and we're seeing what's taking place in our community today, and a lot of people will blame that on the lack of positive male role models and the lack of daddies in the houses. And sure, that does lend to some of it, but it's not all of it. In your estimation, what could we do as young brothers who are out here trying to make it, trying to do the right thing by our families? How can we contribute to turning some of what we see in our communities around, particularly for our young boys?
We got to learn, we got to teach people how to not, to love people that look like us. It's been instilled in us so long to hate, whether you're a different shade of black, whether you're come from a different family background. There's always this hate. Like, we're the same. At the end of the day, other people look at us like we're just one black person, one black people. And once we get over those stigmas of within our own, we can appreciate each other enough to support them. Right now, we don't support them. It's all competition. It's all, let me get mine so you don't have yours. And there's no community. There's no, even the Jewish people, man, and the Hispanic people, they work together still. Whether they get along or don't like each other, they still build together because they know how important that is. And that infrastructure within our people, if it's strengthened, then we'll start thinking bigger. We'll start thinking stronger as a unit. And we'll start respecting each other. But right now, it's just a bunch of individuals walking around looking like each other who don't have no respect for each other.
You've done an awesome job in connecting a new school sound to an old school feeling, and so when I hear you and I hear Al Green, I'm, in awe of the new sound, but something that still takes me back to an old feeling. How can music play a role in what we're trying to accomplish in our community?
Well, music reminds you of those good days, a lot of good days that you may have had, and it reminds you of the hope that people had in those days, like back when Martin Luther King used to speak. There was music playing. There was certain songs, "Change Gonna Come" by Sam Cooke, and certain songs that instilled in you that strength and that warrior to fight on, and that spirit of conquering. And I think music gives you that. But with the wrong music, it can push you away from ever believing again.
Can you still be a change agent and be a musician?
You can definitely be a change agent, being a fireman, a garbage man. It's just about that seed you plant. You got to have a positive seed.
If you had one piece of advice that you wanted to give to boys and girls struggling with the same issues that we see in My Father's House, what would it be?
Don't carry hate. don't carry hate and resentment, and don't and guilt. Let it go and live your life as if it was just you and the people that have loved you that far. I think a lot of times we hold on to past, like my daddy wasn't here, so I'm mad. I'm mad from 1972. I don't want to be mad from 72 all the way to 2015. I don't want to carry that weight. So if people can, just let that go and start enjoying their life and making the beauty in their life right when they start to think about that. I think we will have a lot less people walking around angry.